Good day, traders. Mindset reset. Change the title from 1 minute mindset to just mindset reset. Today we're talking about when markets go out of balance. Today, Free Cash Friday, probably one of the best weeks in terms of textbook, playbook templates across many instruments this week. Emphasizing, and I'll be going and going through this in the videos. As I mentioned, I'm putting some other things together that will help traders to, number one, identify the highest possibility candidates. So the process of filtering it down a lot quicker. Also, being able to recognize when cross-rate pairs may be offering fantastic 5-star parabolic opportunities in a day 3 or in the session that you're trading, whether that be Asia, London, or New York. When markets go out of balance, Dalton market profile, we've talked about this. So opening range is so important because in some instances on our opening range on a Monday, we can get information based on how Monday trades of what other time frame traders may be in the market, or where we may see other time frame traders already having entered into the market on a Monday, day one runners, or breakouts of a previous day's higher low, and in some cases weekly levels. Weekly levels are critical because that can often be a peak formation starting off our week, and sometimes we'll see that on a Tuesday. An opening range breakout that fails on our Tuesday, which forms our initial balance, that failed breakout now can begin the new day count Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as we saw on oil. We saw that on the Euro Tuesday, Wednesday parabolic, Thursday reversal for first red day, and a blow off on Friday, starting in Asia, heading into the Europe session with major red news that just was a catalyst for completing the move. So when markets break out and close, as Paul Tudor Jones says, pay particular attention to how a market closes. We talking about day 1 breakouts, day 2 breakouts, day 3 breakouts, and then understanding when that volume gets held there another day. Sometimes we'll see that heading into a payrolls week. Sometimes we'll see that on a Friday, and then the Monday reversal. So the original premise of the opening range is that establishes our high and low for the week, our initial high and low for the week. But that gives us an abundance of information. And then the rest of the template for the rest of the week plays off of that opening range. And I encourage you to go back and study that. Now, again, I'm talking about scalable 5-star opportunities. And even within that bigger template, this is where the session scalps come, because we may be in a market that's already moved when we come to the session that we're trading. Hence, while we may be just scalping low-hanging fruit, or we get a 5-star 3-day setup like Free Cash Friday. And sometimes you're going to get day 2 parabolics. Day 2 parabolics, which is why we get parabolic trades on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They can be reversals or trend trades. But today was an absolute stellar Free Cash Friday. And some excellent questions from traders. I'm going to cover some of that material in a later video, going through the charts. Just the process. And then that gives you the confidence of knowing when to add positions into a market, because it's going to be a range expansion. And then, as several traders saw today, especially on gold, third hour after the news, after the market had gone to the previous day's high, new hour for the collapse all the way back down to where gold longs got into the market at the beginning of the session. Nobody gets a free lunch. Again, Goldzilla, the gift that keeps on giving. And that's what really cements the psychology of knowing when you should be in the markets, not guessing and chasing moves to get pips. Because when you can position yourself in markets that are going to do 150, 200 pips, 75 pips, whatever, in a matter of 15 minutes, and you've had the opportunity to prepare. You've got a full day of data leading into a Friday U.S. session. So remember, coming back to day 3 sessions, building that volume, heading into the U.S. window. And now there's going to be 3 session parabolics in Asia. There's going to be 3 session parabolics in London. And when we get to the U.S. session on some of these markets, the reason why some of these moves are going to be large and be able to size into is because Friday is our closing range for the week. Now, the closing range we haven't, spent a lot of time talking about, but how a market closes at the end of the week gives us a lot of information as well heading into the new week. We saw that this week in particular on gold. First red day on Friday, holiday Monday, 3-day week. It was a massive week, absolutely massive week. These markets have been incredible. Major currency pairs and then cross rate pairs. Oil gave an unbelievable, just even in low-hanging fruit yesterday, low-hanging fruit today, before the reversal, heading right into the window. NASDAQ, the indexes, the list goes on and on because nothing changes. And it doesn't matter what instrument you look at, the same process applies. Opening range, initial balance, day 1, day 2, day 3, 3 sessions, whatever session you're trading. Is there a setup in the session that I'm trading? And it comes back to the simple understanding. Dump and pump and dump. Whether that's over 3 days or 3 sessions for a session scalp or a 3-day, 3-session 5-star parabolic opportunity. So when you keep seeing the same things over and over and over again, that's when you realize, like some traders, they get out of a winner too soon, because some of these markets, they are on smaller time frames. And again, I talk about just using your 1-hour chart. I use my 1-hour chart for all my information. And then I go down to the smaller chart levels, timings, behavior, price, 5-minute, 1 minute to cement that as I'm looking at getting in the market. And another great question. When I'm getting in, I never go in full size. I might take one block and split it into 3 pieces or 4 pieces, depending on the type of trade. So on a market like today, I might go in with my block that I'm going to trade on this today and split it into 4. The initial burst, I'll take one out right away because I just want to take something out of the market. The second half or third, depending on the trade, is going to be for targeting the range expansion. The 1 full or 2 full, as we saw in gold, this had a high probability. And the reason why that is today for 2 full expansions is because 9:45 a.m. news. So my whole thesis is that this could go right up until the news. And I'm going to give it all that time to play out because it's an explosive parabolic ascending triangle. And that's been building since yesterday's U.S. session. So when you get a market that builds for almost 24 hours, in terms of building that consolidation for an explosive move, there's a lot of juice behind that move. And that's where the confidence comes from. Those large geometrical structures, classical charting, Peter Brandt, Edwards and McGee, Schabacker, those are the range expansion targets that in the 5-star opportunities, they have a high 90-10 possibility of hitting their target, especially as we talk about 10 a.m. news, 9:45 a.m. news. I'm going to give that market all that time until the news. So the New York Open to me is 9:45 today because there's major red news after the session begins, which is why we saw those markets catalyze on the indexes and whatnot in that first hour, because they're often going to take traders into the open down low or up high, as the case in gold, for either a move back against traders who are already in the market, the low-hanging fruit trades, or they're going to continue for a range expansion even further, depending on the type of setup. So, unbelievable markets. Same thing's going to happen next week. The great thing is, though, Monday's opening range. It's day 1, and that's going to give us a lot of information. Day 2 is going to be our initial balance. And you could only take 2 trades a week. You could take 2 parabolic trades a week and double your trading account. That trade today on gold was, in excess of 150 pips up and 150 down. Several traders shorted that right at the end of the second hour on the third push, just before the third hour started, after major red news, after it had taken out the previous day's high. 3 pushes into the high. Just on real quick, a real great question from a trader. Would you look at shorting that third hour? Absolutely. But my initial premise prior to it getting to that high is don't counter trend a day 3 parabolic. So once it takes out a previous day's high or low and it's completed a range expansion, then it's about the behavior of price and the timing and the level when it gets there. Because until it gets there, a parabolic trade can keep going, especially on a Friday. So once it gets there, if it's petered out and it gives us a short entry or a criteria for entering into a short position? Absolutely. But the initial premise of a parabolic move is not to counter trend it until it runs out of steam and you have, again, a market that's taken out a level. And that level is where our markets are in balance or out of balance. And again, if it stays out of balance outside of the high, it can keep going and go on to the third range expansion. So very important to understand that. Again, congratulations. Unbelievable. I'm a bit flabbergasted, to be honest, because it was a fantastic week. So congratulations, traders. 1% better every single day. Markets that are, once they go out of balance, they're either going to reject and reverse. Okay, so day 1, day 2, day 3, failed breakouts. That starts our day count. Day 2, parabolics, and maybe a day 3 reversal, or a day 3 blowing off in the direction of a trend. What do we know? We know what setup is there and how price has behaved when we come to the screen in the session that we're trading. And if there's nothing there, you go and look at another instrument. Maybe the cross rate's moving. Maybe an index is trading. Maybe an oil's trading. Whatever that is. But the same process applies. We're looking for easy money. And as I joked, don't hurt your back bending over and picking up all the free cash that was laying on the floor today. So have a great day. 1% better. And, keep getting better. Keep it going. Keep it growing. Have a great weekend, traders, and may the markets go with you.